This folktale follows the journey of Adhiambo, a curious and strong-willed girl who, in a moment of desperation, seeks out death to borrow his power. Adhiambo, living in a village suffering from drought and famine, believes she can use death's might to teach the greedy village chief a lesson. However, she quickly learns that borrowing from death comes with consequences far beyond her understanding. The central conflict revolves around Adhiambo's struggle to control what she has unleashed and her desperate attempt to return what she borrowed before it's too late. The story explores themes of power, responsibility, and the balance of life and death. In the heart of the great Nyando Valley, nestled between rolling hills and ancient baobab trees, lay the village of Korisa. This was a village of laughter, of music, of harvest so bountiful that even the poorest among them never went hungry. But those days had faded. The rains had abandoned the land, the rivers had dried up, and the people lived in the shadow of hunger. Adhiambo, a girl of 16 with eyes as sharp as an eagle's and a heart full of fire, could no longer watch her people suffer. She had seen the village chief, Mzi Jebori, hoard grain in his granaries while children cried from hunger. She had heard the whispers of the elders who feared confronting him. One evening, as the sun bled into the horizon, Adhiambo sat outside her mother's hut, listening to her younger brother's weak cries. Her mother, Naigutiai, tried to soothe him, but there was no food left to give. Adhiambo clenched her fist. If the chief won't listen, then I will make him. Even if it means borrowing the power of death himself. The village elders often spoke of a sacred cave deep in the forbidden forest where death resided. No one who went there had ever returned. But Adhiambo was not afraid. She had no choice. That night, she stole away into the forest, her bare feet silent against the earth. The trees whispered warnings as she passed, their leaves rustling in the still night air. She followed the path of broken bones and withered grass until she reached the mouth of the cave. "Who dares disturb my slumber?" a voice rumbled from within. Summoning every ounce of courage, Adhiambo stepped forward. "It is I, Adhiambo of Korisa. I have come to borrow your power." A chilling laughter filled the air. From the darkness emerged a figure draped in shadows, his face neither young nor old, his eyes endless voids. "You wish to borrow death?" "Just for a short while," she said, her voice unwavering. "I want to teach the greedy chief a lesson." Death tilted his head. "Very well, but remember, what is borrowed must always be returned." He reached out a skeletal hand and touched her forehead. A cold wave rushed through her body, and when she opened her eyes, she could feel it, the power of death coursing through her veins. She returned to the village at dawn. The moment she stepped into Korisa, her presence sent a shiver through the air. People turned to stare as she walked toward Mzi Jebori's grand compound. She raised her hand, and the guards at the gate collapsed into unconsciousness. She strode inside, past terrified servants, and found the chief feasting on roasted meat and millet porridge. He looked up and gasped. "What are you doing here, girl?" Adhiambo spoke, and her voice was not hers. It was the voice of 1,000 lost souls. "You have taken from the poor and feasted while your people starve. Today, death has come for you." Mzi Jebori trembled. "Please, mercy." But Adhiambo had no mercy to give. She lifted her hand, and the chief clutched his chest, gasping for breath. The people of Korisa, drawn by the commotion, watched in horror as their once mighty leader crumpled to the ground. The villagers cheered at first, celebrating the end of their torment. But then the cheers faded. Something was wrong. Adhiambo turned to leave, but her legs felt heavy. Her vision blurred. Then she heard it, the whispers of death himself. What is borrowed must always be returned. She had not just borrowed death's power. She had borrowed his curse. One by one, the villagers who had witnessed the chief's fall began to collapse. The crops in the field withered before their eyes. The sky darkened, and a strong wind swept through the village. Adhiambo's heart pounded. She ran back to the forest, back to the cave, falling to her knees before death. Please. Take it back. I never meant for this to happen. Death chuckled. You wished for power without understanding its weight. Now, you must give me something in return. Take anything, she pleaded. Just spare my village. Death leaned forward. A life for a life. If I am to restore Korisa, I must take you in return. Adhiambo swallowed hard. She thought of her mother, her little brother, the people who had suffered so long. She had wanted justice, but not like this. With a deep breath, she nodded. I will go with you. The moment the words left her lips, the darkness lifted. In the village, the crops began to regrow, the people stirred awake, and life returned to Korisa. But Adhiambo was never seen again. Some say she walks the land between life and death, a guardian of balance. Others say she became the whisper in the wind, warning those who seek power without wisdom. And so, the people of Korisa never forgot, what is borrowed must always be returned.